Welcome back to Built for Weekends, the podcast for people who work all week and live for the weekends. I'm your host, Mark, and thanks for joining me for this episode. Today we're talking about something that sounds simple, but can absolutely make or break a trip. How you pack your gear for your trip. Not what gear to buy, not the fanciest setups, but how you pack what you already have so your trip is smoother, safer, and way less stressful. Because nothing kills the vibe faster than digging through bins on the side of the highway, realizing the thing you need is buried under everything else, or you left it at home. This episode is about packing with intention, so when the road opens up, you're actually ready for it. All right, start with the trip, not the gear. So before you load a single item, ask yourself one question. What kind of trip am I actually going on? Not the Instagram version, the real one. How many days am I gone for? Where am I sleeping? How far am I driving between stops? Am I moving camp every night or setting it up just once? This matters greatly because packing for a 3-day base camp trip is very different from packing a multi-stop road trip. Your goal isn't to bring everything. Your goal is to bring what you'll actually use, plus some bonus items you can always pack if you have space. But if you pack without answering this question first, you're going to overpack every single time. Next thing to do is going to be pack in zones, not piles. One of the biggest mistakes people make is packing everything in different piles. Instead, make it easier for yourself and think about it in zones. I like to break gear into 5 main categories: sleep, food, recovery, emergency, and fun. Each zone gets its own bin, bag, or space. Why this matters? You don't want to unpack your kitchen to find your headlamp. You don't want your sleeping gear buried under tools. And you don't want to have to think during an emergency. When everything has a zone, your brain can relax. And that's what weekends are all about. Next, accessibility is more important than aesthetics. Here's the hard truth. The prettiest loadout isn't usually the most reliable or usable. Ask yourself, what do I need daily? What do I need while at camp? What do I only need if something goes wrong? Those daily use items will go closest to the tailgate or rear hatch, and those things include things such as snacks, water, jackets, headlamps, toilet kit. Camp-only gear can live a little bit deeper, such as stoves, chairs, a table, your sleeping setup. Everything else, such as emergency gear, needs to be accessible, always in the same spot so anybody can get it, and never buried. You shouldn't have to repack just to grab those essential items. Now, for packing, soft bags beat hard cases most of the time. Hard cases can look great, but sometimes they waste space depending on what you're packing in. For road trips, soft bags and duffels are usually better because they compress, they fit into weird gaps, they're quieter, and they're easier to move around. I like to use one duffel per person for clothing, one shared bag or backpack for weather layers. And if you will grab one bag and you can be fully dressed in any condition, that's a win. Once you have a setup that works, you can always look into mixing in a few hard cases to make things quicker to grab and pack. My current setup has a mix of both just to maximize the space I have in the truck. Now, the next section is going to talk about food gear, because here simple wins every time. Food packing doesn't need to be complicated. You're going to want to think about meals and not ingredients. Instead of one random bin of food and a cooler, try breakfast bag, dinner bag, snack bag. Pre-packed meals you make at home are great if you can do it. Even just grouping the item together saves time and frustration when you're tired and just want to have something easy to cook. Always also think about packing one extra easy to make meal. You're going to want more water than you think. And very important, a way to make coffee without unpacking everything. Because mornings on the road or at camp should feel calm and not chaotic. Now, I also have the end of day rule, and it's a question that saved me more than once. And that is, if you arrive late and tired, can you still set up easy? That means things are accessible. Your sleeping gear is reachable. You've got a light source like a headlamp or a little lantern ready. And minimal decisions are required in order to set up. If you have to think too much at the end of the day, your packing system needs a little work. Good packing removes decisions and just happens. Another big thing to think about is leaving space on purpose. And this one's a little underrated. You're going to want to leave 10 to 15% empty space because chances are on the road, you'll buy food. You're going to add some wet gear. You'll reorganize. And things will never go back exactly the same. A fully packed vehicle looks efficient, but it's fragile. Space gives you flexibility. Now, as we wrap up here, just remember packing gear for a road trip isn't about perfection. It's about flow. When your gear is packed well, you can drive longer, stop less, stress less, and you'll enjoy the trip more. And that's what Built for Weekends is all about. Making space for the moments that matter. So if this episode helped, share it with someone planning a trip. And if you've got a packing system that works for you, I'd love to hear it. So until next time, pack smart, travel far, and build your weekends.